So what is the value proposition for textual evidence systematic reviews?
It's a good question. And I think it's evolving. So historically, textual evidence has really been at the bottom of the food chain, right? And it's usually used where no other research evidence exists. And that's still, I think, a valid reason. But increasingly, I think we're seeing that that is changing because there is, in different spaces, a real complementarity of textual evidence to other forms of evidence where you can really draw out some of the issues in a different way that you might not be able to if you've only got research. And equally, I think the publishing landscape is changing, and so research and the findings of people's investigations are not necessarily only published in journal articles. And I think as that continues to evolve, we will also see an increased focus on other sources of evidence like text, narrative, opinion and policy.
And so when should I conduct a systematic review of textual evidence?
I think certainly in the last couple of years we've seen a lot of confusion between scoping reviews and systematic reviews of textual evidence. And I think that, scoping reviews, as the name suggests, is a mapping exercise to see what exists, around different concepts. A systematic review, however, of textual evidence, like any other systematic review, is aimed at answering a specific question and searching for the evidence and critically appraising and synthesising that evidence to inform policy and practice. So scoping reviews might be used prior to a systematic review to investigate whether or not there is sufficient evidence to do a review, but reviews are really aimed at informing policy and practice, and I think therein lies the really critical difference. So Alexa, why are there now 3 separate critical appraisal tools?
I'm glad you asked. So having defined textual evidence as being inclusive of narrative, expert opinion and policy, we discerned as a methodology group that establishing the reliability of these different sources of textual evidence would be different. The way in which these sources are interrogated to establish their validity requires responses to different kinds of questions, hence the 3 different appraisal tools. So to try to sort of simplify that a little bit, when we assess narrative, we're focusing on authenticity. And when we assess expert opinion, the focus is on the motive. And when we assess policy, the focus is on the credibility, so drawing on critical discourse analysis.
So can textual evidence systematic reviews be living?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So in fact, textual evidence systematic reviews align well to a living evidence model. And we certainly saw this with textual evidence reviews that were done through COVID, and where there was an evidence base that was rapidly evolving on a continual basis. And often topics that are addressed through textual evidence are embryonic in nature, with new information being released regularly. So there is a potential for them to work well as living systematic reviews.
Oh, great. So I know that the question everyone will want to know is, where can they find the new guidance?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So we've been talking about this new guidance for quite a while.
We have.
And so we are very excited that it will be officially published in the new JBI Manual of Evidence Synthesis, and this month as part of Methodology Month. So we really hope that systematic review authors will engage with this new guidance and use it to continue to refine it based on their own experience, and lots of feedback for us.
Great.